Welcome to ESPN FC Live with myself, Rob Palmer, Rob Dawson and Stephen Nicol. Just minutes since that game finished. Lads, I didn't get to see the second half. Pretty dull first half. Much happened in the end?
Just a little bit.
It's one of those where you have to write it down to actually kind of make sense of what happened in that last 45 minutes. First of all, Steve, I'll start with you. Your emotions in that game, your broadcastable emotions in that game. I've heard you shouting at the moon.
Well, right now I'm angry, to be honest, and the two things that I'm angry about are, number one, how Guéhi's not sent off when he pulls Mo Salah back. It's a clear goal scoring opportunity. Diaz absolutely isn't going to get round on the cover, so that's really angering me. The other thing that's really getting up my nose is why Liverpool, when they go 1-up, do they go and sit on the edge of the box? Because other than Haaland having a chance after 2 minutes, they hadn't hurt Liverpool. And so when you've got the momentum, you get the goal, you've had the momentum since the second half started. Why are you retreating to the edge of your box? You know, I get it. If you want to draw the line in the halfway line and let them have the ball, then that's fine. But don't stand on the edge of the box, because you're asking for trouble. You're asking for a mistake from one of your own players, or a ball to go their way, and in the end, it's just a simple header back into the box, and Silva, credit, Bernardo Silva runs onto it and puts the ball in the back of the net, and all of a sudden it's 1-1. So those are the two things right now that are really annoying me.
Stevie obviously has his Liverpool rose-tinted glasses on there, and understandably so. Over in Manchester, Rob, it's hardly going to be a bus tour, but there'll be celebrations in the blue half of the city tonight with a game which just had it was going one way and then the other. It was a roller coaster effect, wasn't it, for the City fans?
Yeah, and I do think it's a massive result for City. I think that there'd almost become something psychological about City going to Anfield. They just weren't able to perform there properly, and haven't over the years, even with Pep Guardiola in charge, they haven't really been able to win there. I think Guardiola's got one league win there since he arrived. It tells you how tough a place they've found Anfield, and to go there, to be 1-0 down with 6 minutes to go, to come away with a 2-1 win, obviously in itself is a massive result, but also what it does to the title race, because I think if Arsenal had been 9 points clear tonight, I think even Pep Guardiola would have felt that maybe that was over. But now you're on the back of a massive morale-boosting win. You're back to within 6 points of Arsenal. You'll have Arsenal players, Arsenal fans. Nicol probably watched on the sofa thinking that, we're almost there halfway through that game, and now all of a sudden it's only 6 points. I do think if City are going to go on to win it from here this weekend, and that result may turn out to be a massive result for City.
Obviously, historically, Rob, this is going to go down as the City win, and it's going to be a massive turning point in this season. City now play on Wednesday night. Arsenal have to wait 24 hours, so they can actually have a 3-point lead, or cut it down to a 3-point lead later in the week. So that's how immense, overall, in conclusion, this result is tonight.
It is, and you see these momentum shifts in title races, especially around this time of year, sort of January and February, where there are weekends where one team will play first and the other team has to follow. We've seen it quite recently with Arsenal dropping points against Man United, and then City going and dropping points as well, and what that does to the morale and the momentum for the other team. I just think that this weekend, and you're right to point out the timing of the games this week, because with 5 minutes to go today, City were 9 points adrift of Arsenal at the top. Now suddenly it's 6. On Wednesday, if City can beat Fulham at the Etihad on Wednesday, it's going to be 3 points, and then Arsenal have got to be the ones to follow up and try and win their game on Thursday night. I mean, these little things, these little quirks of the fixture list around this time of year in the title race do strange things to teams. And again, I don't think. Obviously, Arsenal are still the favourites. It's you'd much rather be 6 points clear than 6 points behind. But results like this, going to Anfield, winning 2-1 in the way that they have, the manner that they've done, it does shift the momentum a little bit, and it will be very, very interesting if City can close that gap to 3 points on Wednesday night to see what Arsenal can do on Thursday.
Steve, let's go back through the game. First of all, the team selection today. I think Pep changed half the outfield, didn't he? Whereas Liverpool stuck with the same team. I guess that tells you where the two managers are at the moment, because Liverpool don't have a lot in reserve. Maybe only Curtis Jones to come on and change things from the bench, whereas City did mix things up. We are happy with the way he approached the game today, Arne Slot, Steve.
Not really. No, I don't have any qualms about the side that he picked. But I think to play the first 45 minutes basically standing on the edge of your own penalty box at Anfield, it's not something Liverpool fans or former players are used to. I mean, again, as I said about the actual equaliser they lost, if you're going to sit on the edge of your box and defend, you can't afford a mistake. You cannot afford to give an inch. And in the first half, they kind of got away with it, and that's just pretty clear. In terms of what they offered, was absolutely zero. Couldn't keep the ball. City completely and utterly and totally dominated the game, but they going forward were blunt. And let's be honest, they were blunt most of the game. Other than the Bernardo goal, it's not a City goal, whipping the ball in the box and a header down for a run from Bernardo. And the second goal again is self-inflicted. Alisson just makes a rash decision, comes flying out, and it's a penalty kick. But it doesn't really have much to do with what City were doing. So, in terms of Liverpool, the first half is a complete and utter, please wash it away. Yeah. There's nothing good to say about the performance other than the fact that they got away with going in at half-time 0-0. Second half.
Do you think it was intentional, though, from Arneslot? Do you think that he decided we'll sit back and we'll condense and we'll absorb everything? Or was it the fact that he was maybe being outmanoeuvred by Pep and Pep had decided they were going to go on there and they were going to attack Liverpool from the start?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty clear that they were going to sit. My problem isn't that. Listen, if you want to do that and play on the counter, because City defensively, they're vulnerable, you can get at them. So if you want to do that, that's fine. But I think there's a difference between sitting on the edge of your box and sitting just inside your own half or the halfway line, something like that. So I hated the way they went about it. Absolutely hated it.
Rob, notable change in the second half, wasn't it? Because Liverpool remarkably started to take the game to City. And suddenly City had all the possession, bossing the game, rocking on the back foot again.
Yeah, and it's something that's happened to City quite a lot recently, that they've started games well, they played well in the first half, and then for some reason after half-time, they just haven't been able to replicate that same level of performance. And we've asked Pep Guardiola a couple of times about that, whether is it a physical thing, is it concentration? And even he has sort of said that he doesn't really know. And you saw exactly what happened at Spurs last Sunday. City were dominant in the first half and then go and concede 2 goals in the second half and draw 2-2. And it was almost the same story again today, that City were probably the better team in the first half. I thought the way that Liverpool came out in the second half, they were by far the better team. They probably had the best chance of the entire game with that Ekitike header from Salah's cross, which he should score. But I completely agree with what Stevie said earlier, that Liverpool have gone ahead with a Szoboszlai free kick, a fantastic goal, but then straight away have then gone and sat on the edge of on their own area. And City then have had a period of possession around Liverpool's box, a period of possession that they haven't had for the entire second half. They've only been allowed to do that because Liverpool have gone ahead and sunk right to the edge of their own box. And really what you should have been doing is trying to push City as far away from Liverpool's goal as possible. Just carry on and play the same way. Liverpool were on the front foot anyway. They've taken a lead. They should be full of confidence. Go and get a second goal and kill the game. And instead they've sunk back to the edge of their own penalty area. They've let City have that passage of possession where they are quite good at having little players finding pockets like Bernardo Silva and Cherky, who was on at that stage. That's what those players want to be able to do. They don't want to be dinking it around on the halfway line. They want to be around the penalty area. And both of those goals have come from similar passages of play. You've got the ball into Haaland and the header down, and Bernardo does wonderfully well to get on the end of it and anticipate it better than anyone else and then score. And it's a similar kind of move for the penalty where the ball gets flicked over to Núñez. Again, I agree with Steve. I've got no idea what Alisson is doing rushing out at that point. There's not really any danger of Núñez scoring from that point in the box. Really, he wants to just stay between his sticks and let the ball come across and hope his defenders can deal with it. He's made a complete mess of it. But both of those goals have come from Liverpool sitting far too far back. When they had the game in their hands at 1-0, they could have gone on and scored a second goal. City looked dead and buried at 1-0, I thought. But they've allowed City back into the game.
Sorry, Rob. I think Pep's got lucky as well. I don't understand the Semenyo positioning at all. As looking at the game, I'm so delighted that Semenyo was in the middle. Half the time he's got his back to goal. And I've got Kerkez, who so far this season, defensively one-on-one, looks as though he's going to have a panic attack every time somebody has a go at him. But yet Semenyo, instead of getting after him, is in the middle of the park. So I think Pep's got away with it. He's won the game, so you can't argue. You know, if you win the game, then people say, well, your tactics are right. But I think he got away with it. I think he's trying to be clever with Semenyo. And I think today, absolutely, did Liverpool a favour in terms of not having Semenyo wide. On either side, by the way. Whether it was Szoboszlai or whether it was Kerkez on the left. I think he did Liverpool a favour sticking Semenyo in the middle.
Talking points, and I know your answer to this, Stephen, and again, keep it clean here. The Salah incident, when he went through, was brought down outside the area. I think we'll agree that it wasn't a penalty, but I think most people would suspect that it maybe should have been a red card for Gay.
Well, it really isn't difficult. You know, the criteria is pretty straight. You know, there's nothing complicated about, did you stop a goal scoring opportunity? End of story. It's either a yes or it's a no. And how you can say that Guéhi pulling down Salah doesn't stop a goal scoring opportunity is beyond me. Ruben Diaz is never getting there in a million years. Salah is going to be one-on-one with the goalkeeper. I don't understand how you can possibly mistake that and not give a red card. It's absolutely unforgivable.
Rob, have you got a counter argument for that? I mean, you know, the thing is it's opportunity. It's not to say he's going to score the goal. He's against one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but it's an opportunity to score. And that is the letter of the law. We'll talk about the later red card and the other big talking point at the end of the game. But if the referee was sticking to the letter of the law, should Gay have gone?
Well, I think there are a couple of things there. I don't think that Salah's reaching the ball after his first touch. I thought that he went down quite easily. I thought Diaz, I agree with Steve.
Is that a foul?
No, is
that a foul?
It is a foul, but he's trying to get away from him. And
here you go.
I think that Diaz is, if you look at it from the referee's point of view, Diaz is in a decent covering position. And I don't know if he's getting there or not. Diaz probably doesn't even know. So I think Gay's lucky, but I can understand why he was allowed to stay on the field.
And then again, I mean, okay, Liverpool score 5 minutes later. Steve, how do you describe that free kick? They kind of they had two players there. It wasn't exactly a wall, was it? And then when you watch it back again, you see Diaz actually helps by pulling. I think it's Gakpo that you can see that pulls him out of the way, and that's the gap that he goes for. And that fizz through there, it was like an exploding balloon at a children's party. You just couldn't read where it's going to go.
Well, in terms of how you set the wall up, you know, if in hindsight, dead easy after the fact, you know, probably if it happens in a similar position, I would think Donnarumma would stick a wall up or a proper wall. At the same time, I mean, you could stick all 10 outfield players in that wall, but the way he hit it, the way it went away from the keeper, you can't save that. I mean, you can't. It's the same as the Arsenal one at the start of the season. You know, there are certain things that you can do defensively to stop something. But in terms of the strike, I think it's tough to blame the keeper for the way he set his wall up or how they went about it. He decided he wanted to see the ball. And again, if you take 10 of those, the way it is, probably the goalkeeper will save 9 of them. But unfortunately for him, Szoboszlai has hit it so sweetly, cut across it. The ball starts up the middle. It's going at 1,000 miles an hour and it's drifting away to the side. I mean, you can't save that.
That, Rob, is a sensational goal. The Bernardo one, City love to score these pure goals, don't they, with fantastic football. But 9 minutes later, they would have taken anything. And that's what they got from Bernardo Silva. A momentary lapse in the Liverpool defence. And Szoboszlai, being the hero at one end, was the man that was keeping Bernardo on side. Yeah,
and again, a couple of things with that. I mean, it was Haaland's header down from the cross. I thought that Haaland was pretty poor, actually, until that point. He didn't win a header all day against Virgil van Dijk. He has won that one. It's obviously turned out to be crucial. After that, I just think that goal is all about Bernardo and his anticipation, because if you watch the replay, you can see before the ball hits Haaland's head that Bernardo was already expecting that ball to drop into that area of the pitch. He's already darted forward. The Liverpool defenders who are around there are caught ball watching a little bit, which is obviously easy for me to say sitting watching the replay. It's obviously harder to do when you're on the field, but they're watching the ball and Bernardo is watching that space in front of Alisson. And it's just his anticipation and bravery, I suppose, as well, because he knows that he's going to collide with Alisson. gets in there and gets that goal. And again, it just felt like a momentum shift, because immediately when Bernardo goes and gets the ball out of the net and puts it back on the centre circle, because he knows that City need another goal, and it just kind of pushes City forward for that winner. So it's a crucial moment in the game. As I say, Haaland's probably first meaningful contribution all afternoon. Wonderful anticipation from Bernardo, and the goal that sets City on the way to their winner. Yeah,
I'm sitting there and I'm writing the league table and what it means for all of the teams around them as well. And then 91 minutes into the game, and there's another slip, Stevie. I mean, kind of unforgivable. I'm supposing that you're not going to argue about the second penalty in the game, or the penalty that was given, should I say, in the game?
No, not at all. No, Alisson absolutely has committed himself. And again, the way the game's refereed has changed as well. In my day, that wouldn't have been a penalty, because Rob's talking earlier about Mo Salah. He wouldn't have got the ball. Well, there's no way Núñez is getting the ball either. So you can take that away, because they don't use that anymore. So yeah, it's a penalty kick all day long. If that had been the other way around, I'd have been screaming for a penalty.
Mm-hmm. Rob, I guess you're not arguing there, but again, it's a game that comes down to the two fine margins of two decisions: one not given at one end, which would have led not to a penalty but a red card, and then which I think everybody agrees was a red card and a moment of madness, a rashness from Alisson.
Yeah, I mean, I must say I don't like that rule where, because I agree with Stevie again that there's no way that Núñez is getting that ball, and I don't like that element of referee now, where you can essentially punt the ball into the stands and let the keeper clatter you, and you get a penalty given in your favour. So I don't necessarily like that. Stevie's right. It is the letter of the law. I think that Alisson knows the minute that he kind of commits himself that he's in trouble. I just don't understand from Alisson's point of view why he feels like that he needs to go and do that. Because as I say, if the ball is dropping for Núñez and he's got a shot and he's going to shoot and possibly score, then it's fair enough for Alisson to come out, make himself big, charge Núñez down and try and stop it. But there's no real need to. He's not going to shoot from there. He's not going to score. It's going to come across the box anyway. If I was a goalkeeper, again, so Alisson knows far more about this than I do, so what do I know? But have the keeper stay in between the sticks. Have him stay in between the posts and let your defenders try and deal with it, because essentially you've gifted City the chance to score when there perhaps wasn't going to be the same chance if Núñez had completed the action that he actually wanted to. So again, easy for me to say. I thought it was a mistake from Alisson's point of view. I would have preferred him just to stay where he was.
But even then, Steve, there's still more drama to go after that goal was scored in the 93rd minute. That save from Donnarumma, and it was a pile driver from McAllister. But what a save. When you see the replays back, it gets better and better every time you see his hand go out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the top corner. It's probably slightly behind him. Yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible save. But, it's the type of save he's been making all season. Let's be honest, without him, there's no question Man City would not be in a title race. And he showed again today why he's one of the best keepers in the world, and why City still have an opportunity to win the Premier League, because, as I said, without him all season, they're not even close to it.
And just to wrap it up, we're told that referees have to stick to the letter of the law these days. I'm looking down and thinking, it keeps saying at the bottom of the strap it was 2-1. In my head, I'm thinking it's 3-1 to Manchester City. I guess when they go to some referee seminar later in the month, wherever they go out in the sticks, they'll be saying that the referee got it right according to the letter of the law. But listening to the pundits over here, Stephen, they're saying that kind of spoiled the entertainment of the game. The fact that one of the great moments of the season was ruled out.
Well, the best referees do use the law, but they also use their interpretation of what's the best thing for the game. Unfortunately, today you got too many people who just look at a book and go by the book. And then when they have an opportunity to see something back over, like the Mo Salah one, the rule book goes out the window. And then, of course, it's the last kick of the game. Does Szoboszlai pull Haaland? Yes, he does. Does Haaland pull him? Yes, he does. Ball goes in the net. You know what? Who cares? The game's over. Whether it's 2-1 or 3-1 makes no difference. Do the best thing for the game, and that's the most important. That's the most important thing. People will always complain about, well, the rule says this, the rule says that. But where's the feel for the game? What's the best thing to do for the game? And certainly sending Szoboszlai off was not the best thing for this game.
And as you say, I mean, City wouldn't argue because they'd have got the third goal, which who knows, it might come down to goals difference at the end of the season. So tight it may be at the top of the table. But the downside for that, of course, is now that Szoboszlai and Liverpool are struggling defenders, don't have a right back, it could be serving suspension. So there is a knock-on effect of the decision that, again, credit to the ref, he gave the goal, but he had that little voice in his ear, that voice in his head, Rob, didn't he? Telling him, well, we've got to stick to the letter of the law here.
I think that the fun's been taken away from it. And I actually feel sorry for the referee, Craig Pawson, because I actually think when he was watching it first time, I think he just applied common sense. They both were fouling each other. The ball ends up in the net. The game's won anyway. What does it actually matter? And then he's been told in his ear to go and look at it, and then he has to make that choice. And it does have a knock-on effect because Szoboszlai is now going to get suspended for a game that Liverpool will want him to play. They're shorter players anyway. They actually need him in midfield more than they do at right back. But they're going to lose him to play at right back as well when they're already missing Conor Bradley and Frimpong as well. So it's one of those decisions that suits absolutely nobody. I felt sorry for Craig Pawson. I thought that he tried to apply common sense. He wasn't allowed. He had a voice in his ear. And he's been made to look silly now because it was a decision where you've got both managers shouting at him, which tells you exactly how good they thought it was.
And just in conclusion, before I let you guys go, Rob, first of all, monumental day in the Premier League season. Going to give City some kind of momentum now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I still fancied City to really push Arsenal close. I think that today is the kind of day that will give them a lot of hope, a lot of momentum, and it will be very, very interesting to see where we are this time next week.
Stevie, you've been in that position many times over the years where you've been in the team at the top of the table or maybe in the second place. In that, give us your wisdom, your experience of being there. What's it going to mean psychologically for the Arsenal players now? Are they going to feel quite so invincible? And what will it mean to Manchester City?
I don't think too many Arsenal players would have been watching this game, to be quite honest with you. And from a City point of view, from a player point of view, there'll be a 24-hour, maybe 48 hours. You go back in, next time you're back in training, everybody will have a skip in the step. But unfortunately, the reality is that the next time you step on the field, what you've been doing all season doesn't just disappear because you somehow get a result from being down and out. So, yeah, the feel-good factor will be there, but you've got to step back and look at the big picture. City are fortunate to win the game today. It's only the second one in the last 7. So it's not like the train's bashing along down the track. It's kind of stuttering. So yeah, the feel good factor, no question, will last until the next time they step on the field.